What is the best focal length for landscape photography? Ultra wide, wide, normal or long? How many lenses do I need? Zoom or prime lens? How the hell am I supposed to know? Well, you'll try to find the answers to all these questions together. Welcome, my name is Smid. I hold the highest photographic title Master Qualified European Photographer, MasterQual. I've been organizing photography workshops and photo expeditions around the world for more than 13 years, and I am one of the 25 ambassadors of the legendary Carl Zeiss brand in the world. I produce this channel together with my colleagues Pavel and Martin, who travel with me on expeditions as lecturers. Beginning in landscape photography isn't easy at all, is it? When we finally decide what brand and type of camera to choose, we haven't won yet. Because now comes an even bigger dilemma. What lens or lenses to get? Every article, every photographer, every lecturer will recommend something different. Okay, but step by step. Ultra-wide focal lens. What is it anyway? Ultra-wide focal lengths are usually considered to be lenses between 14 and 20 mm, converted to full frame, of course. These are standard so-called rectilinear or not fisheye lenses. In other words, they are lenses that do not have pincushion or barrel distortion. Recently, even 20 mm focal length lenses have started to appear that have a really extreme angle of view. Here we have one classic ultra-wide prime lens. It is a Sony 14mm f1.8 with bulbous front element. It sounds great at first glance. Get an ultra-wide focal length, get everything in one frame, and you are done. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Ultra-wide angle lenses are very prone to significant corner distortions and other various defects. In addition, ultra-wide zoom lenses are even more technically challenging to manufacture than prime lenses. So if you want to take a technically good photo without blurry and distorted corners, we have to dig really deep into our wallets. So the first problem, quality ultra-wide lenses are really expensive. Let me show you the Sony 12 to 24mm f2.8. Here we have one of the best ultra-wide zoom lenses in the world right now. I borrowed this lens from Sony for our spring photo expedition to Madeira this year. It was for just only one purpose, namely to shoot an unusual panorama of flowered trees in the mist. I have to say that I was incredibly surprised how perfect and sharp the lens is in the corners, even at the widest 12mm focal length. And how did the photo I plan to take with this lens turn out? 360 degrees panorama. However, the 360 degrees panorama was not the only photo I took with the 12mm focal length in Madeira. Here is another panorama. As you can see, square in format. It is incredible that despite I had the camera, 30 centimeters from the tree, everything was perfectly sharp. Okay, the second problem. Ultra-wide lenses have bulbous front element in most cases. It's practically a manufacturing necessity. But that means we can't put any filter on the lens unless we want to buy some special designs. Plus, when we talk about filters, we'll find that the ideal filters are screw-in filters, not square filters using holders. And you just can't put those on bulbous front element. But this reduces the usefulness of ultra-wide lenses. They are not suitable for water photography, where we need polarizing and ND filters. They are also not suitable for night sky photography in areas where we need to use a filter for night photography. But unfortunately, it's almost everywhere in the world, except in very remote areas. Okay, the third and fundamental problem. Ultra-wide lenses angle show the scene in a rather specific way. Simply said, they tend to emphasize the foreground and reduce the background. So they are ideally suited for compositions where the foreground is prominent and dominant, but the scene behind is empty. Typically just, I don't know, sea and clouds. Here's one example, a simple panorama of 3 photos side by side, taken with a Zeiss Milvus 18mm f2.n lens. I put a tripod with the camera and lens just a few centimeters away from the main subject. This next photo was also taken with the same lens. This is a double row panorama from a photo expedition to Madeira. Because the Milvus 18 does not have a bulbous front element, it was possible to use an ND filter to gently smooth out the sea surface. The first problem, if we shoot single shot, then ultra-wide angle lens and tilt the lens down or up, the verticals will converge significantly. For example, trees will not be vertical but tilt, same with houses and so on. The wider the focal length and the greater the tilt is, the greater the distortion. Such photos are then really useless. In this case, the solution is to use a slightly longer focal length, at least around 20mm, and take a panoramic photo, for example in 2 rows, with a large overlap. This will get rid of the converging verticals very effectively. I can hear it now. Okay, converging verticals, but how the hell am I supposed to solve this problem? The answer may be, for example, this photo from a photo expedition to Lofoten. Probably you will know where the photo was taken. Yeah, you are right. From the viewpoint of Reinebringen. It was before the Sherpas put the stairs there in recent years. Today, Reinebringen is crowded at sunrise. But in the past, when we had to climb steeply at night for more than 2 or 3 hours, we used to be alone at the viewpoint. So this photo was also taken with ultra-wide Zeiss Milvus 18 pointing downwards. Still, there is no distortions and the verticals are perfectly fine. How did I do it? The solution is panoramic photography like this one. A very simple double row panorama, 4 photos in each row. But the top row was taken almost horizontally, so no cutting of the verticals. For the bottom row, the camera was tilted really far down, but the big overlap of photos between the top and bottom rows resulted in a panorama with perfectly straight verticals. But these lenses have one advantage. That advantage is the depth of field. The wider lens, the greater the depth of field. Just turn on any app to calculate the depth of field of a scene. For example, let's check PhotoPlus app to see what the difference in hyperfocal distance will be for 12, 25 and 50 mm. My camera is Sony Alpha A1. At 12 mm the hyperfocal distance is 0.44 meters. At 25 mm it is already 1.87 meters, and for 50 mm it's already 7.42 meters. As you can see, the difference between 12 and 25 mm is not that dramatic. However, the difference between 25 and 50 mm is already huge. So, final question. Do we need ultra-wide lenses? From my point of view, their usefulness is relatively small. Firstly, because of foreground versus background imaging. Secondly, because of the converging of the verticals in the single shots. And thirdly, because of the very limited possibility or even impossibility of using filters. I personally don't own an ultra-wide lens, but I do borrow them on rare occasions for special projects. For example, the already mentioned 360 degrees panorama in Madeira, and for example, for the Northern Lights panorama. Okay guys, wide-angle lenses. Wide-angle lenses are usually considered to be from 20 to 35 mm, again converted to full frame of course. The range of these lenses is very wide, as almost each manufacturer has something to offer. The reason is these lenses are suitable for landscapers, travelers, architectural photographers, street photographers, and so on. For us, landscapers, these lenses are very attractive, and when I look at my photos, I find that most of them were taken lenses in this range. Wide-angle lenses, like ultra-wide-angle lenses, retain a relatively large depth of field in the scene. This eliminates the need of focus bracketing when you focus on different parts of the scene and then blend the planes of focus in post-processing. Converging of verticals is not as big issue as with ultra-wide-angle lens, and the foreground versus background aspect ratio is also improved. The big advantage is that most of these lenses no longer have a bulbous front element. This means that we can use filters without any restrictions. From what I have just said, it's clear that wide-angle lenses are really versatile and very suitable for us landscapers. The choice of wide-angle lenses is really large. It's possible to choose prime lenses or zooms. Also, the basic aperture varies, starting as low as f1.4, sometimes at f2.8. The cheaper lenses then start at f4. There are endless debates about whether to get a zoom lens or prime lens, whether the base aperture is this or that. Generally, the higher the base aperture, the cheaper the lens will be, and the simpler the construction and glass composition. I personally prefer prime lenses with the best possible base aperture. Back when I was shooting with DSLRs, my favorite lens was the size Otus 28mm f2.4. It's still probably the best wide-angle lens ever made. As you can see, it really is a monster, both in size and weight. The front element is huge. The filter diameter is 95mm. But thanks to the size of the front element and the composition of the inner elements, it gets light extremely well, and its strength will be appreciated not only in day photography, but especially in night photography. Let's take a look at a few panoramas I shot with this lens. After switching to the Sony Alpha A1 mirrorless camera, I kept the Otus, but I can only use the adapter, and now I use it exclusively for night photography, shooting stars or the northern lights. I currently use the Loxia 21 and 25mm. As you can see, these are extremely small and lightweight. Their quality is top-notch. They are simply made by size. Their front element is really small in diameter, 52mm. The advantage is that all Loxia lenses have the same diameter, as you can see here. So we only need one set of filters, and they are really tiny, really mini filters. And we need only 2 ND filters, one polarizing and one night sky. That's all I need. Nothing more. I can't say which wide-angle lens is the best for landscapers. Everyone has a different brand of camera and often chooses the brand of lens accordingly. Some choose it by price, others by size, weight, and so on. I always tell photographers on expeditions, buy a better lens only when you find that your current lens is limiting you in some way. For example, when the lens is not suitable for night photography. And again, final question, do we need a wide-angle lens? Yes, absolutely. Often we'll even use multiple wide-angle lenses, especially if we like prime instead of zooms. We'll probably shoot with wide-angle lenses most often. Hello guys, and welcome in the beautiful city of Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. In studio we are talking about ultra wide angle and wide angle lenses. So let's start with ultra wides. I have here great lens, a Sony 12 to 24 mm, 2.8 aperture. It's real top in its category, amazing. For me, I mean for a landscape photographer, it is only one problem, as you can see here. It has bulbous front element. It means that we can't use any screen filters. But to be honest, 99% of ultra wide angle lens have the same front element. Okay, so we have this lens, and how to work with ultra wide angle lenses? It's not so easy. Why? First of all, ultra wide angle lenses are great for composition with strong and dominant foreground, but also with a non-dominant background, and it's not really very easy to find. And the second problem, the major problem, is that when we point our ultra wide angle lens up or down, it means towards the sky or towards the foreground, what happens? Falling verticals and distortion, and it's a real problem. But how to solve it? Just take a look. This is our composition, but assume that right now we have too much sky. So we want to point our camera a bit more down. What happens? Falling verticals. Okay, and the same if we want to point our camera up. The same problem, falling verticals. And what's more, we can take a look. The closest foreground really doesn't work as a foreground. It's quite far. It's like a mid-ground with such a lens. So how to solve that problem? Yeah, there is one solution. On your knees, ladies and gentlemen. What does it mean? The trick is that if we have ultra wide angle lens, we should go lower and closer to the foreground. We can try that. Okay, so don't be afraid to be really low and close. Now we can take another shot. And as you can see, a foreground, even the closest foreground, really works as a foreground. And there are no falling verticals. And that's what we want. So this is the trick if we want to shoot with ultra wide angle lenses. Let's shortly talk about the wide angle lenses. I'm using Zeiss Loxia 25mm 2.4 aperture almost all the time. As you can see, it's very small and lightweight, but Zeiss quality. And I have to say that with wide angle lenses, slowly disappear problems of ultra wide angle lenses. What does it mean? It means there are no falling verticals, there are no distortions. As you can see, there is no bulbous front element, so we can use screen filters. And it's quite easy to find nice composition because we can shoot nearly everything with wide angle lenses. So I can say that maybe 80% of all my photos are taken with wide angle lenses. So for a landscape photographer, it's probably the most important lens that you can ever have. And what's your favorite wide angle lens? We would love to hear from you in the comments. And guys, that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed our video and give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And by the way, what's coming up in the next video? We are going to talk about normal and long lenses. So see you next Saturday. Bye.